This is Weighted Opinions.
What's up, legends? You know what time it is? It's time for episode 25 of Weighted Opinions, the show where I put ideas on the bar and see what they actually weigh. And today, we're stepping into one of the most uncomfortable conversations we've ever had on this podcast. It's not because it's controversial, it's not because it's political, it's not because it's trendy, but because it requires something that has become increasingly rare, almost obsolete: radical personal responsibility. So today's episode is called Trauma Isn't Your Fault, but Healing Is Your Responsibility. It's the difference between understanding your pain and building a house there and living in it forever. Good? Yeah. So before somebody clips 8 seconds of this episode, removes all context, and declares me the villain of the internet, let's establish something immediately, right out of the gate. Trauma is real. Your pain is real. Abuse, unfortunately, is real. Neglect is real. Loss is real. Betrayal is real. Some of us, that might be more fresh than others. This episode is not about minimizing suffering. It's about what happens after your suffering, because that's where people tend to split into two very, very vastly different paths. So we're going to start here. Your trauma is not your fault. You didn't choose to have abusive parents, some level of abandonment, neglect, betrayal, tragedy, loss, violence, or any of these circumstances that are well beyond your control. Life can be incredibly unfair and hard, and incredibly more unfair and harder for others. Okay? That's it. Some people start the race just way further back, carrying extra weight and dealing with obstacles that luckily a lot of us never have to face. That is just reality. It's not being cynical. It's not being so depressing or harsh. It's just reality. And pretending otherwise is ignorant and stupid. Come at me, bro. But here's where it's gonna get difficult. Understanding isn't the same as staying stuck, right? Let's just sit in that for a second. We're gonna marinate on that, and then we're gonna keep going. So let's just keep going on that. That your understanding isn't the same as staying stuck. Modern society has gotten very good at explaining pain, okay? Almost too good, just explaining it away. So now we can explain every single fear, every insecurity, every behavior, and every unhealthy pattern. And the explanations can be very valuable, but explanations also create awareness, right? Awareness creates more understanding, but herein lies the problem with all of that. Understanding why you are broken isn't the same as fixing what's broken or working on what's broken. At some point, the explanation stops being helpful and starts becoming an excuse. Yeah, it's probably hitting the nail on the head for some people out there scratching their head going, shit, he's speaking directly to me. Good. It's time to wake up. When trauma starts to become an identity, this is where people tend to get trapped with it. Some people experience trauma and others build that house inside of it. Like I was mentioning earlier, they introduce themselves through it. It is their being and their personality, right? They filter every single decision through it. They define themselves by it. And eventually they become emotionally dependent on it, weird enough. And now every conversation starts with like, yeah, well, because of my trauma, or, oh, I had this experience and this is why I react that way. Every challenge becomes, you don't understand what I've been through, and you can't even begin to comprehend how difficult it is. Sound familiar? Every opportunity becomes, oh, I can't because, or like, I wish I could, but it's just, I'm not able to. And before long, the trauma that hurt them initially is now continuing to hurt them and prohibit them from moving forward because they are carrying it everywhere. Yeah. The world doesn't just stop because you're hurting. The sad truth is the world actually doesn't give a shit. Everybody's got problems. It sounds harsh, but life is harsh, right? The mortgage still comes. The bills still come. Responsibility, yep, it's still there knocking every single morning. Time marches on. The end of the day, nobody cares. The truth is, the universe has never once paused because somebody had a difficult childhood. You're here listening to this podcast, watching this right now, and there is some shitty stuff happening to people all over the globe right now. It's not your reality, but it is the reality. Again, that's not cruelty. It's just reality. Healing doesn't happen because life slows down. Healing happens because you decide to move forward anyways. Right? Stick with me. We're going to keep going. Okay. So this next part is my favorite part. And by favorite, I mean not because it upsets me and I have to talk about it all the time. And sometimes I just want to run my head through a wall. What? Sarcasm and self-deprecation, Jared? That's crazy. Do something you never do. Yeah. Anyways, I want to talk about the accountability gap. Okay. This is what I see all the time. Everybody, people want empathy and they want your understanding and they want compassion, right? And they deserve those things. But so many people just stop there because compassion feels better than, you guessed it, accountability. Accountability requires one thing. What is it? Well, shut up, I'll tell you. It's action. Hey, action requires discomfort. Are you paying attention? Did you watch last week? Yeah, we talked a lot about comfort and getting comfortable being uncomfortable and discomfort. Hey, crazy how it's all tying together. So anyways, accountability requires action. Action requires discomfort. And discomfort, shocker, it's where the healing actually lives. Almost like leaving your comfort zone is where growth and healing and evolution happens. Why wouldn't one of your favorite quotes be, the work you're avoiding is where the magic happens? Isn't that, yeah, it's so crazy. All of these things are all tying together. Holy, how does he do it? It's insane. Sorry, I'm just getting heavily sarcastic here. Back on track though. Healing is work, okay? This is the part that Instagram doesn't like because it's not sexy and it doesn't sell the same. So healing isn't posting motivational quotes. Yeah, manifest your, yeah, whatever. God, every time I got to sneak it in there. I fucking hate it. Get over it. Don't manifest. Put the damn work in. The hell does that even mean? It's so stupid. Wow, I'm just going full sassy bee. Yes, healing is not posting quotes, okay? It's not sharing memes, unfortunately, even though that is super funny and I'm all for it. It's not identifying your wounds, okay? Healing is work, and it's messy work, usually ugly and uncomfortable work, boring work, and repeated work. You know what healing looks like? Well, let's dive in. It looks a lot like therapy, for some journaling, some very difficult conversations. That one's big. Everybody loves avoiding or running away from difficult conversations. Boundaries, having your own, respecting those, respecting others. Yeah. Forgiveness, big one. Hard for a lot of us. Self-awareness, that's one of the huge ones because so many of us think we're self-aware and we are not. It's a very fleeting character trait these days. Healing takes a lot of changing habits and changing patterns. And sometimes healing looks like, are you ready for it? It looks like admitting you're the problem and you're the one that's been standing in your own way. Oh, man. Did that suck? Did you just Yeah, I know, right? But get over it, okay? Some introspection. It sucks. It's ugly. You got to go through the storm, okay? Weather the storm. You become battle-hardened. You become more able to forge yourself in fire. And then little things stop rattling you. And big things stop being so daunting. And you just deal with it. I know. It's logic. You don't want to hear it, but I'm going to keep going. All right, let's do it. Okay, we're going to do it. we are going to talk about another one of my favorites. Do you know what it is? Well, I'm going to tell you. It is the victimhood trap. Okay? Let's get a little spicy with it because I haven't done that yet today. Victimhood is seductive because why? It removes responsibility. If everything is always someone else's fault, you never have to change. How amazing. You never have to grow. So easy. You never have to risk failure. Hell yeah, no more embarrassment. We love it. You can stay exactly where you are forever, and that's okay because you love you, and that's the thing that matters at the end of the day, right? Yeah. There's people who spend decades here, okay? Not because they're incapable of healing, but because victimhood becomes so comfortable. And comfort is so damn addictive. Yeah. You can be hurt and still be responsible, okay? So this is where a lot of us struggle. They hear responsibility and think blame. It's not the same thing. Let's say somebody crashes into your car. Yeah, freaking annoying. It's not your fault though, right? So who's responsible for getting it fixed? Aw, shit, still you. Wasn't your fault, but you got to do the work. Oh no. Not because you caused it, because it's your damn life and nobody's going to do it for you. Yep, the exact same thing applies here. The trauma may not be and is probably not your fault. But your healing, that's your job. You see what I did there? That's the title of the episode. Crazy. Nobody else is going to do your push-ups. Yeah, tying in exercise. I know, so sneaky. So subtle. Let's keep going. Nobody else can eat healthy for you. Vegetables. Nobody else can build your future, nor do they want to. And nobody else can heal your wounds. They can help. They can definitely help. They can support. They can guide. They can encourage you. Other people have been through stuff, similar situations. You can lean on them if you need a sounding board. You can ask them how to navigate tricky bits. You know, that's why we have people. That's why we have circles. That's why we have communities. But guess what? As much as they can help and guide and support you, they cannot do the work for you. Unfortunate, true, reality. Yeah, it stinks, I know. Some of the strongest people that I know, they're definitely not the ones who have avoided hardship. They're people that have literally walked through hell, especially a very close friend of mine just recently. Literal hell. And even though it's been a fucking nightmare, and I'm sure they haven't enjoyed it, this frickin' family is going to be so bulletproof moving forward because life has literally tested them at the highest level, and they're still together. They're still here. They're still waking up every day. They still get to love each other. They still get to see each other. They still get to spend time together, and they refused to be defeated, okay? They refused to unpack their bags and live there. They experienced loss and pain, maybe not betrayal right here, but failure, trauma, all of it, right? And somehow they decided this happened to me, but it doesn't get to define me. That's power. That's you taking your power. That's you being in control of the situation. So, what if healing became your mission? That is a great question. I appreciate you guys asking that. So imagine if instead of asking, why did this happen to me? You started asking, well, shit, what can I do now? Not because the pain wasn't or isn't real, but because your future matters more than your past. Do not let the past define your future. You will find yourself very, very limited. All right? So imagine if all that energy spent explaining and justifying and defending and reliving was redirected towards healing. You know what happens? Your entire life changes. I know, it's getting heavy. I told you it was going to get real today. Join me on this feels trip, won't you? We're going to keep moving. Let's go. Let's go. So we've come all this way today. Let's get right after it. Okay. What is the hardest question? Ask yourself honestly, am I healing or am I just rehearsing? Because there is a big old difference. Healing has you moving forward. Rehearsing just repeats and relives the story over and over and over. And eventually that story becomes a prison that you built for yourself. We just dropping truth bombs all over you today. All right? So the truth that probably nobody wants to hear is at some point here, your trauma stops being the thing holding you back, and your unwillingness to address it becomes the thing holding you back. That moment is very uncomfortable. But if you realize it, it's also empowering, because if you're part of the problem, you can also be part of the solution. You just got to flip the script. Yeah, I know. Usually we have a little bit more, lightheartedness and some advice and some coaching stuff, but I told you today was going to be more impactful and a little bit heavier and a little bit deeper. Because in my world, in the fitness world, it's not just, muscles and aesthetics and vanity. As much as the world showcases it and builds it around that, it's because that's what's sexy and that's what sells to everybody. But more often than not, it ends up being a lifestyle transformation, a personality shift, a level of empowerment, somebody leaning into themselves and becoming the person they were capable of all along that they've been suppressing. And that shit is powerful. I get emotional just thinking about it, because I've seen time and time again people that are stuck in a prison that they built for themselves, and they realize, or they don't realize, that they have the key to the cell that they are tormenting themselves in, and all they have to do is put in the work to unlock the door and free themselves from it. Yeah, before I get too emotional and cry like a little baby, I just want to part here. We're going to keep it a little bit shorter than we have these last couple of weeks, just so maybe you can rewatch, you can go back through it, you can digest and break it down piece by piece. So if I give you a closing shot, plain and simple, life isn't fair. Okay. I've been dealt some shitty hardship that I wouldn't wish on my enemies, but it's also made me way stronger than I've ever been in my life. Okay. So am I happy about it? Hell no. Do I love it? Hell no. But did I stay there and let it define me? No. I grew exponentially more powerful from it, and it empowers me to help others move beyond theirs. So life isn't fair. Some people carry wounds that others will never understand. And those wounds definitely do deserve compassion. But compassion without accountability will keep you stuck. Okay? So remember that your trauma may explain you, but it doesn't excuse you. Your trauma may influence your story, but it doesn't have to become your identity. And your trauma may not be your fault, but your healing is absolutely, unequivocally, 100% your responsibility. Some heavy shit, dude. But it's reality. How many times have I said that today? A lot. Yeah, I mean, it's a big thing. It's a big hot button topic in today's society. But I think it's more a talking point for a lot of people rather than something that people want to identify so that they can put the work in, right? Yeah, that's going to do it for me today. So if this episode stirred something inside of you, good, because that's where the growth begins. And if you're thinking, you're growing. And that's my goal here. So, as always, my friends, if you would please be so kind as to like, comment, share, and most of all, subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps me reach more people. It helps me help. And that's literally what I want to be doing here. So, as always, I got to call somebody out too, right? So please send this to somebody who needs the reminder that they are not responsible for what happened to them, but they are responsible for what happens next. That was a much nicer call out than usual, huh? That's it. Sometimes you're going to see some compassion and you're going to see some heart, okay? I try and keep it hidden, but, we're all soft at our core. Anyways, until next time, my friends, please, please, please stay accountable, stay resilient, and most importantly, stay glorious. Till next time.
This is weighted opinions from me and my best friends. Let me have your attention for all the stuff we will mention. Spitting all truth with fun, so unclench your bum, because I'm about to take off and run.